Yo, hoop fans, your sideline sage, Tips and Upstreams, is lacing up once again. On deck, deep dives into the freshest NBA clashes, ready to set the planks ablaze. But before we jump the ball, be sure to hammer that subscribe on our YouTube channel to keep hooked with our sharp forecasts and prime selections. All right, let's bounce into today's NBA crystal ball reads. The Fire's prediction for today is for the game between Indiana Pacers and Boston Celtics. Tonight, the Western Conference Finals tip off with the Dallas Mavericks visiting the Minnesota Timberwolves at the Target Center. This series promises to be an electrifying battle between two teams that have beaten the odds to get here. The Mavericks overcame a tough Oklahoma City Thunder team, while the Timberwolves knocked out the defending champion Denver Nuggets in a grueling 7-game series. The Mavericks come into this matchup with a 50-32 season record and a postseason average of 106.5 points per game. Luka Doncic has been the standout performer, averaging 27.3 points, 9.7 rebounds, and 9.1 assists in the playoffs. His performance will be crucial for Dallas, especially his ability to create plays and score efficiently. Kyrie Irving has also been pivotal, contributing 21.1 points and 5.4 assists per game. P.J. Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. have provided solid support, averaging 14.3 points and 6.8 rebounds, and 10.8 points and 1.4 blocks per game, respectively. The Timberwolves, with a 56-26 record, have displayed exceptional defense throughout the playoffs, holding opponents to just 99.6 points per game. Anthony Edwards has been their offensive leader, averaging 28.9 points per game. His dynamic scoring and playmaking abilities make him a constant threat. Rudy Gobert has been a force in the paint, averaging 12.2 points and 10.9 rebounds per game, providing Minnesota with a significant defensive presence. Karl Anthony Towns and Jaden McDaniels have also been key contributors, with Towns averaging 18.8 points and 9.3 rebounds, and McDaniels chipping in 12.4 points per game. Analyzing both teams' stats reveals some interesting dynamics. Dallas shoots 45.9% in the playoffs, while Minnesota is slightly better at 47.2%. The Mavericks hit 36.6% of their threes, compared to the Timberwolves' 35.8%. At the free throw line, the Mavericks are shooting 75.8%, whereas the Timberwolves are hitting 77.7%. Minnesota averages 44.1 rebounds per game, with a plus 6.8 rebound differential, while Dallas averages 43.8 rebounds. The Timberwolves lead the league in opponent points per game, 106.5, and opponent field goal percentage, 45.0%. These stats indicate that while Dallas has a slight edge in three-point shooting, Minnesota's overall defense and rebounding strength could play a decisive role in the game. In their last 10 matchups at the Target Center, the Timberwolves hold a 6-4 record against the Mavericks. Minnesota won the regular season series 3-1 against Dallas. Historically, the Timberwolves have been strong at home, winning their last 9 home games against Southwest Division opponents following a win. This home court advantage, combined with their recent form, makes them formidable contenders. The Timberwolves come into this game riding high on confidence after their dramatic comeback against the Nuggets. Their defense, led by Gobert and McDaniels, will aim to disrupt Dallas's offense, particularly focusing on containing Doncic and Irving. Dallas, on the other hand, will need to exploit their perimeter shooting and ball movement to find gaps in Minnesota's defense. The Mavericks' ability to handle the Timberwolves' physicality and defensive pressure will be crucial. Dallas has struggled in Game 1s this postseason, losing the first game in both previous series. This trend, combined with Minnesota's home court advantage and recent form, suggests that the Timberwolves are well positioned to take the opener. The Mavericks are back in the conference finals for the second time in the last 3 seasons, but the team looks a lot different and much more prepared. Luka Doncic is now flanked by Kyrie Irving as a secondary scorer. They have reliable options to kick out 2 for 3s, and their defensive versatility has shown improvement. Maxi Kleber continues to miss time and will be reevaluated soon, but it's expected he will miss the entire series. Despite being on the road here, the Mavericks do have a small rest advantage heading into Game 1. They finished their series against the Thunder in Game 6 at home, while the Timberwolves went on the road to finish a Game 7 in Denver. It's nearly impossible to criticize the Wolves after their biggest win in franchise history. They walked into a notoriously strong home court environment for the Nuggets and mounted an epic Game 7 comeback against the defending champions. Anthony Edwards has proven to be a superstar at the highest level, scoring nearly 30 points every night while also playing excellent defense. Even Karl Anthony Towns needs to be praised for his defense against 3-time MVP Nikola Jokic. The stars have aligned in Minnesota as Edwards, Towns, Rudy Gobert, and Mike Conley have all found a way to bring out the best in each other. The key for this series will be getting off to a hot start. The Wolves are the best fourth-quarter team in the NBA, but they can't keep relying on comebacks against such high-level competition. The Timberwolves' defense has been the cornerstone of their playoff success. They held the high-scoring Nuggets to just 80 points per game in the final 2 games of their series, showcasing their ability to clamp down when it matters most. Gobert's rim protection and rebounding will be vital in limiting Dallas's second-chance opportunities. On the offensive end, Edwards' scoring prowess will be essential. Despite a poor shooting performance in Game 7 against Denver, Edwards has shown the ability to take over games, and he will need to be at his best against Dallas. For Dallas, Doncic's playmaking and scoring will be critical. His ability to navigate Minnesota's defense and create opportunities for his teammates will determine the Mavericks' offensive efficiency. Irving's experience and clutch performance will also be vital, especially in tight game situations. The Mavericks will need to find a way to counter Minnesota's physicality and defensive intensity. Given the statistical edge in defense, rebounding, and home court performance, the Minnesota Timberwolves are likely to win and cover the spread in Game 1. Their ability to limit opponents' scoring and dominate the boards gives them a clear advantage. Expect a tightly contested game, with Minnesota's defensive prowess and Anthony Edwards' scoring leading them to victory. The Timberwolves' strategy will likely involve aggressive defense, forcing turnovers, and controlling the pace of the game. By limiting Dallas's fast break opportunities and keeping the game at a slower, more controlled pace, Minnesota can leverage its defensive strengths. Take the Timberwolves to win and cover the spread. Here's another tip-off for today's game. Dallas Mavericks and Minnesota Timberwolves total points stay under 208. While the Eastern Conference Finals are likely to light up the scoreboard, I'm expecting the Western Conference Finals to be a grinded-out slugfest. The point total set for Game 1 seems too high, given the defensive chops of both squads. These teams bring 2 of the top 5 defenses from the postseason. During the regular season, all 4 of their matchups hit the under, and a combined 99 games did the same. The Mavs held opponents to 101 points or fewer in 7 of their 12 playoff games. The T-Wolves, in their 11 playoff games, kept opponents under 100 points in 6, including all 4 of their semifinal wins. Both teams have potent offenses but play a conservative style, leaning heavily on a few key scorers. Minnesota scored under 100 points in 3 of their last 5 games, while Dallas managed 105 or fewer in 4 of their last 6. The under has hit in 8 of the last 10 meetings between these two. Even with stars like Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, Dallas has leaned into their defense. They posted the league's best defensive rating in the final 15 regular season games and have carried that into the playoffs. The Timberwolves, on the other hand, have led the NBA in adjusted defensive rating all year, and even improved their defensive rating in the playoffs compared to the regular season. This series isn't going to be a track meet. The Mavs were 8th in pace during the regular season, but have slowed down to a more deliberate style in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Timberwolves ranked 22nd in pace during the regular season, favoring a slower, more controlled game that plays to their defensive strengths. The under was 4-2 in the Mavericks series against the Thunder, and it also hit in the last 2 games of the Timberwolves series against the Nuggets. Furthermore, the under was 3-1 in their 4 regular season meetings. All signs point to a defensive battle in the Western Conference Finals.